What's up YouTube, it's your boy ChasmRift here, and it's been a while since I uploaded a video, so gonna upload this. Yeah, it's kind of like a recap of things that happened in the past few weeks involving the gaming world. So yeah, I'm just gonna cover over some stories. My question today for you guys is pretty much just give me your thoughts on any of these stories. It could be all of them or just one particular story. So let me know how you feel about any of this stuff, and yeah, let's get into this. So the first one involves Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. And this is the biggest move in gaming history in terms of company acquisition, in terms of anything money related in the gaming world. And yeah, the story's so big that it blew up Twitter, and it was just crazy for like a couple days. And now even the FTC is trying to get involved. The government, the Department of Everything is getting involved in trying to see if this is a fair acquisition, if this is a stepping point to a monopoly and whatnot. And my honest opinion about this, though, I don't mind Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. For starters, we gotta address the elephant in the room. Activision is under some heat for the lawsuits that's going on from employees. There's been harassment, discrimination, a bunch of horrible stuff, and obviously you can't operate as a company and you're treating your people terribly. Like, no. Maybe 30 years ago you would have got away with that, especially in the world without no social media. But look, we ain't tolerating that for good reason. So obviously Activision, they're already on the market to be sold, and thankfully they were bought out, and now we can move on from this shitty CEO or whoever the hell is in charge. He's out the door. I'm not even gonna mention him by name, like I can Google it right now, but we ain't giving him no clout. So that's a good sign. Another good sign is games like Call of Duty, which we will get into in a minute. The execs at Activision are actually pushing forward to not be a yearly release. And if that's the case, that means games are gonna have higher quality. These games aren't gonna be just so, hey, get this game out by fiscal year, whatever. Don't get this game out by holiday season so that we can just cash grab people. No, they're actually gonna sit down and they're gonna develop the games a little bit more, which is always nice for everybody. Especially when you consider late last year I made a video talking about incomplete games and how it's ruining the industry. So that's a good sign. And then the big one is, so I gotta keep it real. Microsoft is doing this to entice people to get into Game Pass. Obviously they want you to buy consoles and whatnot, but they're looking towards the future. And I think a lot of people aren't realizing that, especially the Sony camp. And by Sony camp, I mean people who are Sony fanboys. They're riding Sony. They're sucking them off. They pretend that Sony can never do wrong. But if anybody impedes on their empire, all of a sudden they're public enemy number one. The people impeding, that is. I gotta be real. I don't mind it that they're trying to really push out this Game Pass. So they just announced at the same day, around the same day, that they reached about 25 million subscribers. If you do the math, and you go by the average cost for Game Pass, the number of people using it per year, this is hypothetical numbers. They're looking at close to $3 billion per year. $3 billion per year off of Game Pass subscriptions alone. It doesn't count people who are just purely Xbox Live, no Game Pass. It doesn't count console sales. It doesn't count first party sales and whatnot. That's just from Game Pass alone. So not only Game Pass is very lucrative for Microsoft, the developers who are involved with it, and very lucrative for the players, it's just pretty lucrative for those who don't even want to own a console, because if you got a PC capable of running the games, you can just get Game Pass instead of a console and boom, you can play. It's bad right now in the state of things with the whole crypto mining and people scalping stuff, but at the same time, like, anything involving PC gaming is a terrible time in the market that we're in right now, so can't really blame Microsoft. As for the Sony camp, y'all need to sit your ass down. How come every time Sony does something, y'all got no problems brushing under the bed, involving like them refusing crossplay for a long time, them gatekeeping their customers, their short running supply of their consoles? Like, there's a lot of stuff Sony has done wrong. And yeah, you can call out Microsoft, but you gotta come with the same energy for Sony whenever they do something crazy. At the end of the day, we're all gamers, and let's just keep it real. Now, it sucks that maybe some games you like will be Xbox exclusive, but the big ones like Call of Duty, I doubt it. Like Charlie Intel that said that, yeah, Microsoft would lose money if they made it Xbox exclusive at the moment. Maybe Xbox players will get the game early. Maybe we'll get just exclusive betas. Maybe we'll get in-game content that's exclusive to us than PlayStation. But at the end of the day, your Call of Duty is going to be safe. And whatever contracts they still got right now, they're being upheld from what we've been told. The next story actually involves Sony. And Sony acquired Bungie. And ironically enough, people believe that, oh, Sony acquired Halo. Which, yeah, it says a lot about the people who follow gaming, quote unquote, who don't realize that Bungie doesn't make Halo. And at the same time, they're kind of exposing themselves. If Microsoft's the bad guy for buying Activision, how you going to celebrate Sony hypothetically owning a franchise from Microsoft, which they don't, but in your mind you thought it was okay. Now this one right here, I don't see this as a big deal. The state of, so really Bungie only really makes right now is Destiny, and Destiny 2 isn't in a great state right now. Part of that's because of their, funny enough, their collaboration with Activision, how Activision wanted them to make Destiny 2 made on a scheduled program, like, hey, you gotta have this released out here, you gotta meet this quota, you have to do this, that, and the other, and it hurt Destiny 2. There's still a lot of people who play Destiny 2, obviously. They're still making money. But it says a lot when Bungie, when they broke off from Activision on that partnership, they were popping champagne bottles and celebrating. That says a lot. Now, in regards to Sony owning Bungie, I don't mind, because it doesn't necessarily ruin the gaming industry. Now, if you're worried about Activision being bought out because they own a bunch of IPs, I get that. But seeing that they're in the hands of Microsoft, and Microsoft hasn't been the quote-unquote big bad gatekeeper, I'm more lenient to it. Now, I do agree that I don't think all these studios should be just bought out. Obviously, you gotta make your money, you gotta make your dollars, people gotta put food on the table. But yeah, we do need studios to be independent and working basically for themselves. Otherwise, it kind of ruins gaming, and it could have a negative adverse effect in the future. But Sony acquiring Bungie doesn't really spell gloom and doom in my eyes. The next story involves Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. So yeah, guys, I'm just kind of like a post-recording because I didn't like how I originally sounded when I was talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. So yeah, my unofficial review. This game is fun. It's on all devices as of this recording. You can play it on mobile, you can play it on PC, you can play it on the Xbox, Switch, and PS4, and PS5. And yeah, this game is great. You can also do cross-play with other people. You can carry over your save data across the platforms, which is a nice touch. I love it when games allow that. And while I'm saying this game is great, this game does have problems. First, we'll go with the good. The game is pretty good with how to give you rewards to start out. They give you a lot of resources to start the game. But if you're someone who wants to make multiple decks, or you're someone who has a pretty meta-relevant deck, the cards you may need may come harder to get. Now, the game is great with giving you abilities to, craft the cards without necessarily having to pay for money for them. But I feel that if you're playing this down the road and you got like 5 or 6 decks you want to run, the game heavily incentivizes you to pay money. Which, hey, a game that's free to play, they tend to do that across the board. The Battle Pass is extremely simple. For someone who's worried about not being able to complete the Battle Pass, wouldn't even fret. You could probably do it in about 30-40 duels. So yeah, I wouldn't even worry too much. Of course, if you win, you move up the Battle Pass tiers higher than losing. So you're going to have to need a little bit of skill if you want to complete the Battle Pass at a fast rate. Solo mode, it's not the greatest, but it will do. Like, you learn a lot about the lore of the cards if you're into that. You get to learn a lot about different deck archetypes in case you want to use them or if you may face them in the future. And you do get nice rewards. Some of the rewards are actual structure decks, so if you did enjoy playing with maybe Gem Knights or whatnot, you can use those structure decks after you complete their progress story mode of the lore. What I do have an issue with, and this isn't necessarily just an issue with this game, it's just the reality of trading card games in general, is power creep is real. If you're someone who wants to play a deck archetype that is outdated, or maybe you just want to play it because, hey, you enjoy these cards, by all means, you could do that. You can have some success with this. The issue is, as you climb the ranking ladder, like any video game, the moment you start getting to the higher ranks, that's when you're going to start seeing people play much more optimal, much more consistent, much more meta-relevant stuff. And the deck that you're running, if it's outdated, may have a hard time winning. I'm playing a Photon deck, and I kind of breezed through rank. But when I got to gold, that's when things got significantly more difficult. So my point there is, go into this game and yeah, you go and have fun, but don't have unrealistic expectations that you're gonna win every match, because you're just not. Not because your deck is outdated. It could be a matter of, hey, you bricked your hand. You didn't have a good hand. It could be a matter of, oh, hey, your opponent won the coin toss, so they got to set up and now you can't do anything. But yeah, I don't know like what the real solution is. Like, there's technically like a free duel mode where you can actually create lobbies and play with friends and play with random people. But if you're someone who don't have friends who play Master Duel, that may not be the best thing for you, because hell, with the free duel, you could be running into somebody who's trying to test out a meta relevant deck. You could be running into somebody who's trying to test out something extremely good, and they're just doing it because, hey, there's nowhere else to go. They don't want to take it to ranked yet. So that's why I'm against, but I also suggest they should have a casual mode. A mode where there's literally nothing on the line. Maybe you get some rewards, you can move up the battle pass playing casuals. That'll probably be a nice little touch. But again, the downside there is people like me and my friends who we aren't playing meta relevant, but we playing decks that are really strong, that can OTK people, that can shut down things. We can really run a train on people who want to play, you know, cards from the OG Yu-Gi-Oh, like the Sengans and the Summon Skulls of the world and Celtic Warriors, or people who are playing like these really niche decks from older Yu-Gi-Oh that just don't hold up today. And the suggestion I have is maybe they do, you know, various like lobby formats where, hey, you can only play with cards that were from original Duel Monsters only. You can only play with cards that were GX through Duel Monsters. Play with cards that were through 5Ds and beyond. Like, things like that would probably be nice, because while it may hurt a lot of decks that are currently out today that have support over the years, it would allow people to play with their older decks, and I think that would be nice for the long-term sustainability, as opposed to just forcing people to learn how to play something that's a little bit more meta relevant. So yeah, that's my take on this game. I have to give it like a solid 7.5 out of 10, because I like this game. I like that they do a lot of good things to start you out. I like that you can carry your save data over instead of trying to start over anytime you want to play on the Switch or you want to play on the PC. But yeah, there's a lot of room to be desired for people who just want to play with their favorite stuff. And like I said, you can, just that you probably will be frustrated running into people playing Eldritch, people playing Tri-Brigade, Drystron, things like that. Anyway guys, I'm about to get out of here. That's pretty much it. Let me know your opinions down below, any of these stories. And yeah, about to get out of here. And maybe I'll be playing some more Pokemons. Bye.